The leader of the Galactic Wakandan Empire, Black Panther, is a fast-moving, comboing diver in Marvel Rivals. He moves quickly around the battlefield, shredding into enemies, and uses constant ability resets to make it hard for enemies to keep track of him. As long as he lands his abilities correctly, he can constantly gain bursts of movement speed and quick dashes that deal huge chunk damage. But if he misses an attack, he can be left very vulnerable. He's definitely one of the highest skill cap characters in the game and takes a lot of work to play. His basic ability is Vibranium Cause. Or as the community knows it, Little Tickles. Black Panther slashes out at targets in front of him, dealing small amounts of damage with each hit. While it looks impressive, it doesn't particularly do too much damage, and it takes quite a bit of time to take out even a duelist with these strikes. But you're not going to be spending very much time clawing at targets as this character. His secondary fire is Spear Toss. This does a quick windup and throws out a Vibranium Spear, doing AoE damage where it lands, and marking targets with a Vibranium Mark, which will put a white indicator above their head. This will be important later. The Spear is really critical to your playstyle. Spirit Rend is his shift ability, which gives you a short duration dash and damages targets that you go through. This deals a pretty low chunk of damage, but if the target is marked with a Vibranium Mark, the damage is increased and the cooldown becomes instantly reset, which means as long as you can dash through targets with that Vibranium Mark, you can instantly regain it and dash again. This leads to his pretty simple combo for backliners, which is throw the spear from a side angle, dash through the enemy team, turn, throw another spear, and dash again. If all those shots land on any of the backline duelists or strategists, they're going to die. And if you get good at this, you can perform it so quickly, players have a hard time keeping up with it. To help make this even better, Spinning Kick is his E ability. He'll do a quick spin where he's at, and then launch himself forward, doing a small AoE around him to targets that he goes through. This gives him a good burst of movement speed, and also applies Vibranium Mark to those targets, giving you another option to regain your reset. Now you have 2 spears and your Spin Kick all able to give those marks, and you should be able to spear, dash, kick, dash, dash. This does so much damage. Even if the targets are receiving consistent healing, if you're able to perform this particularly quickly, you should be able to melt the entire backline. You should only really use that Spinning Kick as a damage source if you've managed to get the target so low that it's going to kill them. Otherwise, you kind of want to use this as your escape, where you spear, dash, and analyze the situation rather quickly. If you think you can get a Spin Kick and finish the targets off, perform that ability and get them wiped out. But if the enemies have started to react, or if the targets have gotten enough healing, you're going to want to turn and Spin Kick to get yourself to safety. Do note that your Spinning Kick always happens horizontally. So even if you've jumped down and are coming in from above, aiming down at your enemies, your Spin Kick is going to instead dash you horizontally forward and may not perform the way that you want it to. If you're using this offensively, you should almost always use it from the ground level, making sure you spin through your targets. Your passive ability, Panther's Cunning, increases your damage dealt the lower your HP gets. So as you're performing your dive combos, as the enemies are dealing damage to you, they're increasing the chance that you're going to be able to take them out. This makes him really good at scrapping against targets. He's so mobile and dealing so much damage as he zips around, and the incidental chunk damage that they get off against you just makes you more powerful. He has a brief wall run. If you hold jump while you're up against a wall, you're able to run up it, and releasing it gives you a quick jump. While near a wall, you also have a double jump ability. Going up the wall, you can jump and jump again, getting yourself some decent height. His ultimate ability, Bast Descent, summons the avatar Bast around him. After a moderate delay, it unleashes the Panther Spirit, dealing damage to all targets in front of him, marking them with Vibranium Mark, and resetting the cooldown of his dash. When your ultimate's ready, you can go for some pretty good plays, doing a spear and dash to the enemy team, turning and activating this ability, blasting the enemy team for a chunk of damage, applying Rend to all of them to be able to dash again. This can be really useful also if you use your dash to get into combat, activating your ultimate to reset your dash, and mark all targets with Vibranium Mark. Then a quick dash through them, turn, spear, dash, should be able to wipe out those targets. You have a team of ability that activates when magic's in the game. This gives you the ability to roll back time. Upon activation, you'll jump up in the air, go through a portal, and then reappear where you were a couple of seconds ago. This will give you a chunk of bonus health based off the health that you've lost over a short duration before activating. So you have a dive attempt and it goes sideways and you've taken a chunk of damage, you can activate this to quickly slip back out of sight. Or you can just activate this preemptively after doing a quick combo to kill targets, activating it to zip back to where you safely initiated from. This is actually a really strong team up, and it's not very often utilized because teams don't seem to tend to really go Magic Black Panther very often. But both these are really strong divers, and having the ability to get yourself to safety a lot faster is really strong. Alright, so when you're playing as Black Panther, it's all about using your stealth and mobility to get around to the enemy back line. Wait for opening moments when enemies have spread out a little bit. Find your priority target, and spam them with that spear dash combo. You have to be so good at being able to turn around quickly and re-aim your next attack. If you're going into a target that has a dash, like Rocket, you're going to want to spear dash and then claw at them for a couple seconds. These claws will force them to use their dash ability, which you can then follow up with a spear dash to keep up with them, or follow them up with a spin kick and then additional spear dash. Not every attempt has to end in a kill, but every attempt should end up in an escape for you. You need to be playing so that you are staying alive more than you're killing targets. If your final hit to death ratio is pretty even, you're not doing a very good job as Black Panther. You want to have very low deaths, and even if that means you don't have too many final hits, it's better than killing a target and then just instantly dying. And way better than failing to kill a target and being dead. It'll be quickly assessing the situation, pulling your combo off, and then zipping off to safety. Spear dash through the enemy team, and then dash for your safety exit point, and use an E to go even deeper in. Get out of line of sight, hide from the enemies, and regain your cooldowns. Then come back for another attempt. Use your wall run and double jump to get to angles enemies aren't actually ready for, or to get able to escape from enemies that can't really keep up with that level of mobility. But you can use a double jump, turn, and spin kick to be able to give yourself quite a bit of mobility in the air, and then dash to an area of safety. Constantly distracting your enemies is extremely valuable, and one thing a lot of players that are new to the game don't actually understand the benefit of. If your enemy is scared and constantly looking around for an incoming Black Panther, unsure of their current positioning, you're doing a really good job, and you're taking focus away from the objective and from whoever they're supposed to be healing or dealing damage to. Keep yourself zipping around that backline and running around fighting health packs to give yourself topped up. With this guide, you figured out how to master the Emperor of Wakanda. In the next video, we're going to talk about the other member of the diving trio, Psylocke. Psylocke is one of the strongest characters in the game. She's super reliable, really slippery, and does major damage output from moderate range, and doesn't have to get in as vulnerable positions as the other divers. We'll talk about all that next time.
Sazaze.